echoing.
Today we will look at how automated tools and technology can be used effectively in software development life cycle. Earlier, systems analysts used paper, pencil and flowchart templates to draw various diagrams, which is a very cumbersome process when you come to modify the diagrams. Now, today there are a lot of automated tools available where you can use these tools to draw various diagrams, and not only to draw diagram, it will help it will help the system analyst, testing staff, coding staff, etc. With the software development process, where you can draw diagrams, you can generate documentation, then you can test your systems, you can generate code. Like that, there are a lot of advantages. So, we will look at these advantages later. Right, now let us look at the benefits of using automated tools and technology. It will improve productivity through automation of the task. When you automate the task, the staff is happy, so it will improve the productivity. Then it will improve quality, because automated tools check for completeness, consistency and contradictions, where when you use an automated tool to draw say for example, a data flow diagram, and then you can find out the errors in that diagram. You can the tool will help you to find the errors what you have the diagram you have drawn, and then it will generate the documentation for you, and then it will cross check with the other diagram to see whether there is consistency and whether there are contradictions. All these things it will help you to find out, so which will improve the quality, which is another benefit. And it also gives you better and more consistent documentation, where some other documentation it will generate for you, because the tools make it easier to create and assemble consistent high quality documentation, which will be another benefit. Right. Then another benefit is where it will reduce lifetime maintenance, which is also linked with the other benefits that I have already mentioned, where it will improve the quality combined with better documentation, and therefore it will reduce the lifetime maintenance. Then the methodologies that really work, where the tools will support a methodology where through rule enforcement, built-in expertise, where it will help the staff to follow this methodology easily when you use a tool to develop systems. Then let us look at the three classes of automated tools available for developers, and they are the computer aided systems engineering tools. Then you have that is for example like rational rows, which falls into that category. Then application development environment like VB.NET falls into that category, and then I will give you more examples later. Then project and process managers like Microsoft Project, an example of project and process managers tool, where we'll examine each of these separately. First, we look at the computer aided systems engineering, or you call it CASE. The use of automated software tools that support drawing and analysis of system models and associated specifications, where these CASE tools will automate the stages of the system development life cycle. They provide prototyping and code generation capabilities also. And latest tools will have a link to application development environment, which we will look at later in detail. then it is the application of the information. Also there is this is another definition, where it is the application of the information technology to system development activity, where you use IT throughout the development process. The development activities, techniques and methodologies, where we have already learned about the methodologies, techniques and the related activities. Then case tools are programs that automate or support phases of system development life cycle, which I told you earlier. So it will help you to automate the stages of the system development life cycle, from the scope definition to the system maintenance. Throughout the life cycle, it will help you to generate and or support these phases of the system development life cycle. Automate or support the phases of the system development life cycle. And you can compare with the computer-aided design technology or CAD technology used by most engineers to design products such as vehicles, machines, etc. With the computer-aided systems engineering. Now let us look at case repositories, which is an important component in case tools, where a system developers, which is also called a system developers database, where developer can store system models or various diagrams that you draw. You can store the details of that, detailed descriptions and specification you can store in this, it will store in the repository, and also and other products that you produce during the system development life cycle, which will you can store in your case repository, which is a powerful data dictionary. And also it is a collection, or you can call it a collection of facilities for creating system models and documentation, and some documentation it will automatically generate for you. And so you can it will store this documentation that you create from scope definition phase to system operation and maintenance phases, which is also called the data dictionary or encyclopedia. And let us look at now the case facilities. To use the repository or the data dictionary, the case tools provide some combination of facilities, where you have diagramming tools, dictionary tools, design tools, quality management tools, then documentation tools, design and code generation tools, then testing tools. Let us look at each of these separately, and we will start with the diagramming tool, which is used to draw the system models required or recommended in most system development methodologies, where you can see with the latest tools the UML diagrams you can draw, because it has become a standard now. Unified Modeling Language, or UML, has become a standard. So the diagramming techniques that are available, like use case diagram, etc., where you can draw using these latest case tools. Right. And also these diagramming tools, where it includes capabilities to produce diagrams, such as where in traditional case tools where that supports traditional methodologies, you can draw DFDs, data flow diagrams, or interrelationship diagrams, where then it will store the details internally. Then it will help you to easily change and redraw diagrams, where when you modify a diagram, the modification will be automatically stored in your dictionary, and if there are contradictions with the other diagram, it will reflect that and tell you about these things. So it will eliminate an activity that analysts find both tedious and undesirable, to redraw and change diagrams, and also automatically update the documentation also when you modify the diagrams. And it can perform online syntactic checks and semantics checks. And these syntactic checks, for example, you can say that if you try to draw in a in a data flow diagram, if you try to draw a relationship between a data store and another data store where there is no meaning, or if you try to draw data flow from an external entity to another external entity or external entity to a data store, there is no meaning. So, these type of thing it will automatically detect and show you that these are the problems in the diagram. And then semantic checks, like for example, in a process in your data flow diagram there can be a data that comes into the process, but there may not be a data flow going out of the process. So, there you may have missed data flow there. So, these things it will automatically detect these things, and in case tools there are rule check options that will tell you the problems in these diagrams. You can, and these editors are intelligent editors where you can draw this diagram using a Microsoft Word type word processing package even, but they are not intelligent. It will not detect these type of errors. So, these editors diagramming tools available in the case tools are intelligent tools. Then we will move on to the next tool, which is the dictionary tool, which is used to record, delete, edit and output detailed documentation and specification. That is the data stored in your repository, where you can modify, delete, things like that you can do easily with the dictionary tool. Right. Then we look at the design tools, where it can be used to develop mock-up of system components such as inputs, outputs, and latest tools where it will have a link to application development environment like VB.NET, where you do not need to use these facilities in your case tools, where you can use the familiar tool like say the application development environment such as VB.NET or Power Builder, where you can draw easily these you can create these components easily. So, latest tools have a link to this environment where you can select the application development environment that you are familiar with. More about the application development environment will I will discuss later. Right. Then you have the quality management tools, where they are used to analyze system modules, to tell the problems in that, the descriptions, specifications with the system models, and then the design. And this is you do this to identify to make it complete, to find out the problems in that, consistency, then and also conformance to accepted rules of the methodologies. All these things it can check. So, quality management tools are available with these case tools. One such example is the rule check option available in the diagramming editors. Then we look at the documentation tools, where they are used to assemble, organize and report on system modules. Tells you about the system module. When you draw a diagram, it will automatically create this documentation, which will help the users, designers and builders. So, and sometimes it may you may have to give the details while you are drawing the diagram, and then it will store this information in the repository, and sometimes it may generate documentation from the system models. Right. Then let us look at design and code generation tools, and this will help you to automatically generate the database designs, then application programs or significant portions of those programs. And this is a very powerful feature, where even if the code is generated for you, you will be very happy, where when you do not need to test this code when the tool generates the code for you. So, these options are very helpful to the development staff, where it will speed up the development process. Right. Then you have this testing tools, which will help you to test the system, and where some of the latest case tools where you need to buy these separately, where you have with the rational rows you have rational team test, rational purify, rational visual pure coverage. All these are testing tools which comes with the rational suite, where which is rational rows is one component of rational suite, where you may have to buy these separately. When you buy the case tools, it may not have all these options available when you buy the initial tool, but you have to specify that you need to have the testing components also. And then let's move on to very important part in this computer systems engineering, where the forward and the reverse engineering, where if you look at your development life cycle, it will be an iterative life cycle most of the cases, where you have to when you are in the design stage, you may have to go back to your analysis stage, and you are in the coding stage where you may have to go to your design and analysis stages. So these things happen. So these tools help you to go backwards as well as forward easily. When you want to modify when you modify your code, you may have to go and modify the design and analysis documentation. So you can easily go back to your previous stages, which is called reverse engineering, and then you, after modifying the analysis and design, you can move forward, which is called forward engineering. So these are two distinct ways to develop system models. Forward engineering is a case tool capability that can generate initial software or database code directly from system modules and generate a program directly from a flowchart. Reverse engineering, a case tool capability that can automatically generate initial system modules from software or database, which is the reverse engineering, generate flowchart from an existing program. So these facilities are very useful in software development, forward and reverse engineering. Right. So as I told you earlier, the system computer assisted systems engineering or CASE are systems designed to automate the stages of the system development, from the scope definition to analysis, design, implementation, testing, maintenance. So it will cover all the stages, and it is capable of bringing clear benefits to system development. And it is very important that you will only get the most of it if you can employ the techniques and technology successfully together. You cannot just go and use case tools where you have to have the knowledge of a system analyst to use the case tool. Everyone cannot use it. So now let's look at general characteristics of case tools, where you have the breakdown complexity, where you can easily decompose your requirements and design into manageable components. Then you can present it to several audiences, whether it can be end users, contracting organization paying for software development, or developers. So you can easily present to several audiences. Right. And then it is cheaper than building using traditional methods. And it is where initially you have to bear the cost of the case tool, but after that you will find it very easy to use, as well as it's cheaper than building using traditional methods, where you can speed up your development process when you are using a tool. And you can easily verifiable. It's verifiable, where you can go and verify to various stages in your development life cycle easily. Then you can easily maintain, graphically oriented, as I told you earlier, easy to understand graphical illustration. So it supports these techniques that are available. Latest ones supports all the UML techniques available. Right. So these are some of the examples of computer system engineering tools, or PC. What are these? Are PC based case tools. But you can see what's on the left hand side. They are in fact the last what's on the left hand side are all outdated now, we don't use it, where it supports the traditional methodologies, and the right hand side from Designer 2000, Design 2000 is which is an Oracle software. Then you have rational rows together, system architect, visible analyst tools that you find it's available now. Tools available now. If you can have other, this is architect is which is Popkins system architect, which is the Popkins like the rational rows, where then you have the visible systems, visible analysts. These are some of the popular ones, and the Oracle Designer 2000. These others are all outdated, which support the traditional methodologies. Right. Then this will summarize the benefits of using case tools in system development, which will improve the quality, productivity, the amount of interaction between developers and users. And it is very important that if you are going to buy a case tool, the organization must consider whether the features of case fit the methods they use, or whether they wish to modify their methods to obtain case benefits. Now, it is important that there is no standard methodology available, as we have discussed earlier in the course, where there is no standard methodology, where you may be using rational unified process, or maybe you may be using some other process. So there is no standard methodology available, but there is the techniques, you find that they are all standard now. You use the standard UML techniques. So you have to see whether the method that you are familiar with, whether this tool supports this methodology. So that is important. Otherwise, you have to find you have to learn the methodology that supports this particular tool when you want to buy it. So that is an important issue when you want to buy a case tool. And then you have better documentation, as I told you earlier, reduced lifetime maintenance, reverse engineering, forward engineering support. So these are the benefits. So this is very important. Most important element in the development process are skills and capabilities of the system analyst. Tools will assist but do not replace. When the case tools came into the market, people thought that they will lose their systems analysts thought that they will lose their jobs, but these case tools have not replaced them. It will help them or assist them to do a better job. Right. Now, let us move on to the application development environment. Very popular one is the Microsoft Visual Studio.net, Oracle's developer, IBM's WebSphere, or these are some of the examples of application development environment. And as I told you earlier, the latest case tools have the options this option to link to any application development environment that you are familiar with. Like, for example, rational rows, you may analyze, design systems using rational rows. When you want to implement it, you can select your application development environment, whether Studio.net or Oracle Developer or WebSphere, IBM's WebSphere. Like that, you can select the environment and then proceed from there. So that facility is available with the latest case tools. So application development environment is an integrated software development tool which provides all facilities necessary to develop new application software with maximum speed and quality, also known as integrated development environment or IDE. So application development environment or integrated development environment is, for example, Visual Studio comes under this application development environment. Right. Then these ADEs provide number of productivity and quality management facilities, where you have the programming language or interpreters available, help programmers quickly identify and solve programming problems like VB or C++ you find in .NET, and there are various other programming languages are also there. Interface construction tools which will help programmers quickly build the user interfaces using a component library. Then middleware, which will help programmers integrate the software being developed with various database and computer networks, where you may be using Oracle as a database or you may be using Access or with the MySQL or any other database you can link with these programs. So middleware is where it helps the programmers to link with the databases. Then then the testing tools you have with these ADEs used to build and execute test scripts or text plans or test data, where you can test your system, and then you can find out the problems in your system. So it will help you to test your system, testing tools. Then the version control tools, that is very important when several programmers are involved with their development. Help multiple programming teams manage multiple versions of a program, version control tools. Then the authoring tools used to write online help systems, which will help you to develop these help systems easily, user manuals and online training, etc. Then repository links permit the ADEs to integrate with case tool products as well as other ADEs and development tools, which is also provided with the latest application development environments. Example: Visual Studio.NET, Oracle's developer, Sybase Power Builder examples. Then Macromedia's Cold Fusion, another example. Bolan's JBuilder will be another one. Like that, there are various ADEs available. So many AD application development environments are available now, where you can use them to develop your software very easily. Then the process and project management tools, and some the case tools. Some of the case tools have components of these modules, process project management tools, and some you may have to buy separately the component. And as I mentioned earlier, the case tools and ADEs support analysis, design and construction of new information systems and software. Process management and process manager and project manager application tools are intended to support cross life cycle activities. Yeah, for example, the commonly used example is the Microsoft project, which is a project or which is in fact called a project management tool, where you can specify the task involved with a particular stage, and then you can find out using a Gantt chart the progress of this task, whether at a particular date, say, you can find out how far you have completed the task, and then who are the people responsible, and whether you are behind schedule. If you are behind schedule, then you can add more people to your this particular task and improve you can finish it quickly. So you can decide these things by looking at a Gantt chart, and there is this also called project evaluation and resource tracking chart, or PERT charts available, which helps you with this project management and process management type work. Another example is Niku's Open Workbench. Right. So process manager application, they are automated tools help to document and manage a methodology and routes its deliverables and quality management standards, and also known as methodware, that is a project manager application tool. And then right, then this project manage tool, where it is also an automated tool, helps to plan system development activities, estimate and assign resources for each task. You can find out the activities involved, then you can describe the activity involved, and then you can assign the resources, estimate the resources, then you can schedule the activities so that you can at a particular time find out whether this particular task you have completed or not. Monitor the progress against schedule and budget, where the Gantt charts will assist you to do that. Control and modify schedule and resources, and report project progress. All these things can be done using these project manager applications.